Hi there, my name is Shalika, and this is my channel, Shali-moves. The purpose of this channel is to show that with the right moves, impossible is nothing but an opinion. Anything is possible. So a little bit about myself. I'm a medical student. I'm a second-year medical student. I'm studying here in the beautiful Perth, Western Australia, at the University of Western Australia. I am almost 2 years into my medical degree, and I'm really enjoying it. Another interesting thing about myself is that I'm actually a mom. I have a 2-year-old son named Jonas, and he was born in September 2016. And he was born with a very rare and life-threatening condition called hydrops fatalis. And he is just an amazing little boy. He's moved, and he is just an amazing little boy. And he has just completely changed my outlook on life to show me that anything really is possible, and there's no such thing as impossible. So my road to getting, where I am and getting into medical school and becoming a mom has been a little bit bumpy. As you can maybe tell, I don't have an Australian accent, so I was actually born in Canada. I lived in Canada until I was 23 years old. I moved to Australia when I was 23 years old. And I originally just came here for a year on a working holiday visa, and I ended up staying long term. So I'm actually now a permanent resident of Australia, and I'm hoping soon to become a citizen as well. And when I originally applied for medical school in Australia, I was an international student, and as you probably don't know, but I'll tell you, medical student fees for international students in Australia are really, 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 really expensive. So basically, I had to find a way that I was going to be able to still pursue my dream and go to medical school in Australia and find a way to pay those really ridiculously crazy medical school fees. But I was really lucky. I actually ended up getting my permanent residency along the road. So by the time I started medical school, I was a permanent resident of Australia, and I didn't have to pay the international student fees, which was a big blessing for me. And then 2 weeks after I started medical school, I found out that I was expecting Jonas. So that was an interesting way to start medical school because, you're so stressed, you're so busy with everything, and then if you find out you're pregnant, it's like you can't even think about it. So I had a really difficult pregnancy. I had a few things along the way that caused me trouble. And then finally, towards the end, whenever things kind of seemed to be smooth sailing from here on in, I was about 30 weeks, they discovered that he actually had fluid around his lungs, and turns out he had to be delivered early, and he spent a really long time in the intensive care unit, just recovering and growing and developing. So that's a whole story on its own, so I won't go into that in too much detail. After Jonas got out of the hospital, I decided to continue with my medical studies. I had passed my exams, my first year exams, and I decided that I was going to continue on and start second year. So we had an au pair who would watch Jonas while I was in class, and then I would come home and look after Jonas, and then I'd do my studying late at night. Didn't get much sleep. No new mom gets much sleep, and I really didn't get a lot of sleep. And I was really stressed a lot of the time, and somehow I managed to pass that semester, so I passed the first semester of second year, and then I started clinical in the second semester of second year, and I just found it was too much time away from Jonas, so I decided that I was going to stay home with him for a year, so I actually ended up taking a year off. And that was the best decision that I ever made, was to stay home with him. It was really great just having that one-on-one time with him. And midway through the year, in December of 2017, I found out that my brother had actually passed away. and that was really a polarizing moment in my life. He passed away from a drug overdose, and him and I were really, really close, like especially before I left Canada. We were really, really close, and losing my brother is like, it was like I lost a part of myself. It was horrible. So I had a really, really tough time dealing with that, and also the repercussions, you know, the change in my family, and you know, moving forward, as he's not going to be part of our future. And he left a young daughter behind as well. So that was a really, really difficult time, you know, almost a year after my son had come home, and then, you know, this happened. So that was really, really tough. I went back to medical school in July of this year, so July 2018, and I've just recently found out that I actually have a chronic disease myself. My son has chronic disease, chronic lung disease, and I just found out that because of my pregnancy, I developed a condition called postpartum thyroiditis, which I was not aware of, and then now I've progressed and I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So I have a lot on my plate. My life is definitely anything but besides boring. There's always something going on. But what I've learned over the last 2 years is definitely that if you just keep chipping away at things and you just keep heading in the direction that you want to go, you do eventually get there. Sometimes it takes you longer than you're expecting. Sometimes it's not the way that you're expecting to get there. But yeah, I think that the reason I wanted to create this channel was to just share my story with people and, you know, hear your stories as well. And, you know, just start a conversation about resilience and how to just keep pushing forward and keep going. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. I really hope that you're going to tune in to my videos of all the different, there'll be different topics every single time. Sometimes it'll be about fitness, sometimes it'll be about, you know, food, sometimes it'll be about mindset, sometimes it'll be just telling stories of what's happened in my life. So I hope you really enjoy it, and I hope to see you soon. Keep on moving!